We got Emily Whitmire back here on the program. She's going to be taking on Jamie Moyle at UFC 226 on July 7th. Emily, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Now, where am I getting you today? Are you just going to practice or did you just finish up a practice? Where am I getting you?
I just finished up, and I'm still at Extreme Couture, though. I'm in one of their other offices right
Nice. I appreciate it. So you didn't get Ryan Couture upset because I know sometimes he uses the office.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm always in here bugging him. He doesn't mind.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. It's been a bit since we've seen you last in the cage. Of course, you fought in December against Gillian Robertson. I know things didn't go your way in that one, but you always learn more from a loss than a win. What did you take away from that performance at the Ultimate Fighter 26 finale?
I learned a lot in that fight, but I felt really ready for that fight, and sometimes things happen. It was a weird armbar. I know an armbar is similar. It was just from a different setup. And so I just kind of went back and went over that and just kind of didn't really change a lot for this camp, to be honest. I mean, it was just, I had a good camp for that fight, and it was just kind of one of those things. I knew going into the fight that Jillian's ground was really good. We trained on the Ultimate Fighter. We shared bunk beds. She was actually one of my better friends on the show. And so I knew that going into the fight. I knew the only way I was going to lose was if I got caught in something weird and funky, and that's what happened. And so just tried not to be too hard on myself about that one, and just kind of move on from it, because I kind of knew that going into it. So it was just kind of one of those things where I kind of knew that could happen, and it's what happened, and I just got to learn from it and move on.
And one of the things I know you talked about on the show was just, trying to mentally get over the hump sometimes in fights. How have you addressed that since the show? Because I know that's something that, the talent's obviously there. It's just a matter of putting it all together in the cage.
I overthink things. So I think in just simplifying it, it's just 3 5-minute rounds. I just have to go and beat somebody for 3 5-minute rounds, instead of I overthink before and after and during, and I just overthink things too much. And it might be a blessing outside the cage, but inside the cage it's kind of a curse a little bit. So being a little bit less of a thinker, I think, is key for me, and I think I've done really well on my camp this time, just kind of simplifying it. It's not overthinking it, not overdoing it. It's just I do this every day. I train twice a day, year round. This isn't anything different than I do every day. So just trying to set my mind at ease.
And one of the things I'm sure you're happy about is that you're fighting at strawweight, which is your natural weight class. I know on the show and in your debut you fought at flyweight. I know weight cuts suck, but you must be happy to have some size in this fight.
I am excited to have a little bit of size in this fight, and I think just something happens for you mentally when you are cutting that weight. You're putting in that extra work. Last time I was walking around 127 before the fight, and it just didn't really feel like that grind of a fight camp. It just felt like hard training. And so I really think that there's just this mental switch that switches for you when you're sitting in the bathtub and you're dying and you're almost there, and you're just you give up a little bit, and so then those sacrifices make you want to fight a little bit harder.
And you're taking on Jamie Moyle, who is a fellow Ultimate Fighter contestant, not on your season, but she was obviously on one of the earlier ones. How do you feel like you match up against her in this fight?
I feel like it's a good matchup. I've watched Jamie since she fought in Invicta. I've always kind of known who she was, and she's a great fighter. I've always thought she came out ready to go, and so I'm really excited to get this opportunity to fight her. I think it's a good matchup. I think she probably thinks it's a good matchup. I think it's a good matchup, so I just think it's going to be a good fight.
And one of the luxuries of where you're training at Extreme Couture is I know there's a lot of UFC fighters coming out and using the PI. Have you been getting a lot of cross-training with some of the fighters that have been showing up in town?
Not too much. I went over to the PI and I trained with Valentina once, and then Claudia Gadelia, she's in at Extreme a lot, and then over at the PI a bit, but I haven't been cross-training too much. I've been training with Giovanna Ganato for this fight a lot for my ground, and so I've been going over to Cabrina's gym. Hector Vasquez, he trains up in Summerlin, and so I've been going up there quite a bit. So I really haven't been spending too much time at the PI. I still kind of keep most of my training here at Extreme.
Okay. How far of a distance is Extreme to the PI? Are they fairly close together?
They're super close. So I'm
good.
literally one block. So you hit the
good.
cage, and the next road over is Jones, and it's just right on the other side of Jones. So it literally takes 3 minutes to drive. So we're a little bit spoiled here at Extreme Couture.
Awesome. So who are some of the people you get to work with at Extreme as far as training partners?
Training partners, for this camp, I've been using Bryce Harley a lot. He's one of our littler guys. So I've been trying to work with mostly people that are a little bit shorter than me. And so Giovanna, I've been working with her a lot. And then Bryce Harley, I've been working with him a lot. And then James Blair and a couple other of our small guys, I've been going with them a lot. And then Destiny McCubbin, she's one of our amateurs that is up and coming. And so I've been working with her quite a bit as well.
Nice. And how's the weight cut going? We just talked about it. I imagine everything's going according to plan so far.
Yeah, everything's going according to plan. I'm kind of at that point where I'm over the point. Like that first week where I really had to start like kind of cutting down. I was just like, oh my god, why did I do this? Why did I choose to do this? Just your mind like plays tricks on you. Like outside of camp, I don't want to eat bad. I know I don't like sugar and like I never eat bad. And then now like this last week, all I wanted to do was eat like cookies and donuts and everything. And I know it's just my mind playing a trick on me.
Okay, fair enough. How's your good friend Misha Tate doing? Obviously, she gave birth. She's a mom now. How's she doing?
I think she's doing good. I actually haven't seen the baby yet, so I'm pretty bummed about that. She was at Extreme on Saturday, and I was in Phoenix, and I missed her, and so I'm really excited to see her. But it seems like she's doing good, and she's happy with like her life, and just really happy with life after fighting. It seems like.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Well, that is the question. So Dennis Davis, my head coach, and Eric Nixick, they will always be in my corner. And then I was going to have Claudia in my corner, but now she has a knee surgery coming up this week, and I was going to use her mostly for the warm-up. And so I don't know, I might switch her out for Bryce Harley so I can have him in there so I can have a good warm-up partner. You always want to have like a good teammate, I feel like, in your corner, like somebody for the good warm-up and like just somebody you've been sparring with, like that good, like just that good friend feeling.
Yeah, no, I hear you. How do you see this fight unfolding on July 7th?
I can't spoil it.
Well, you don't have to give away a game plan, but are we going to see a finish? Give us something here. How do you sort of see this playing out?
Everyone wants a finish, but I know Jamie's really tough, and I don't know if she ever gets finished. So I definitely think it's going to be a 3-round war. If I get a finish, I'd be happy, but I'm definitely ready for 3 rounds.
If you go out there and you come out unscathed out of this fight, are you looking for a quicker turnaround from your last fight, or do you just want to see how this fight goes and assess it at that point?
I don't know. I don't think people like really realize like how hard the Ultimate Fighter is. Like you're in that house and then you have your fights so close together, and then you get out and then you're like right back in camp. And so I had 3 fights within 4 months, and then now I'll have this other fight. So that's 4 fights in a year. So I mean that's pretty good. I don't know if it's a super quick turnaround, but I would like to probably take like a month and enjoy summer a little bit and go home to Oregon and see my friends and family, and then come back and maybe have something in like October, November.
How was TUF 26 for you? Your whole experience on the Ultimate Fighter. How was that whole thing? As far as going through all that.
A lot of good came from the show, but to be honest, it was really hard for me. I got hurt one of the first. It was like our 3rd training day there, and so I wasn't able to train the whole time. And so for me, being like secluded off on the side of the mat, watching everyone train and vibe together was like hard for me personally, and just like my own personal stuff. And so I struggled there a bit, just not being able to train and like keep your mind right. Like, okay, I could potentially I had 2 fights in, a week, and then I was gonna have another fight or potentially another fight. So I'm like, I haven't trained at all, and I gotta have 3 fights. So it's just like keeping my mind from like not overthinking things again when you're in a house and you have no TV, no music, no books. You don't have anything to keep your mind like occupied. So literally, that's the only thing you can do is think. And so for me, I didn't really thrive that well in that environment. I made good friends on the show, and I would do it over. But as far as like really enjoying the experience, not so much.
Who do you still keep in touch with from that cast?
Lauren Murphy, I see Lauren Murphy a lot. Rachel Oswich, I talk to her quite a bit. I would say maybe those are the only 2 that I really like talk to a lot. Shauna Dobson, I went out to see her fight in Glendale, and so most of the girls, like, we also like chat on Instagram and stuff, but me and Roxanne are the only ones that live here, and we train at different gyms, so we don't really run into each other very much. But everyone's cool from the show, so it was an easy season because nobody really hated each other. Like they tried to get that drama between Sajara and Lauren, but it really wasn't like anything unbearable. It was nothing big, So everyone on the show is cool.
Cool. And this is going to be a cool fight coming up here. UFC 226, July 7th. Emily, it was great getting a chance to catch up with you. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
All right. My Instagram is Whitmire at 115. And then my Twitter is Whitmire MMA. And then just shout out to Green Life. They always support me and hook me up with the best. So thank you, Green Life Productions. And I think that's all.